For my next game review, I'm going to look at the first game in a series released mainly on the Super Famicom called the Great Battle series, and this features several characters from Japanese TV shows, Ultraman, Gundam and Kamen Rider. And there's about, I don't know, maybe 10 games on the Super Famicom, and also some games on the original Famicom and the PlayStation as well, but most of them are on the Super Famicom. The first game is called SD The Great Battle. The SD stands for Super Deformed, because the characters are done in a like cute Super Deformed style. So let's take a look at the fact file for the game. The Great Battle was released in 1990 in Japan, published and developed by Banpresto, and the price I paid for this game, the first one in the series, was £2.35. Current going rate on eBay for the first game in the series is about £5 to £8, so pretty cheap to get hold of. That's for cart only, by the way. Boxed ones will probably cost you quite a bit more. So let's have a look at the first game in this series and see what these characters are getting up to. Here's the title screen then, after the Banpresto spinny mask logo, and as you can see it says SD and then a lot of stuff in Japanese, which presumably means the Great Battle. We've got a few options, so let's have a look at those quickly. So we've got the controller options, of which there are numerous. 8 of them in fact. All variations of the same theme, obviously. So I'll just stick with Type A, which is as good as any other, I would say. There's also the mode, which allows you to change the level, skill level, easy or normal. We'll leave it normal. Number of players, 3 or 5. We'll stick with 3. And background music tests, which we don't need to go into. Pretty basic stuff. So back to the main menu. And it will go into a rolling demo in a moment, but we may as well just start the game really, hadn't we? So it begins with some kind of cutscene with lots of Japanese text I don't understand, but I know that the basic plot of the game is that some of the characters from the 3 TV shows, Ultraman, Kamen Rider and Gundam, have been captured, and basically the remaining characters are going to rescue them, for want of a better explanation. There they are. So you've got a Kamen Rider on the left, Ultraman on the right, and a Gundam character in the middle. Not very familiar with any of these characters, so that's all I really know, is that that's who they are. Lots more text, which is getting kind of boring now, so let's get on with the game. So you get a little bit of mode 7 zooming there, and on we go into the first stage, and again there's another kind of cutscene with a lot of text. So let's move on from that. Something with an SD in the middle there. SD, by the way, stands for Super Deformed, if I haven't already mentioned that. So you start off on this platform, and as you can see, basically you're running around. It's almost overhead view. You've got the scenery scrolling down below you, underneath you, with a reasonable sense of distance there. To say the least, it's quite far away, so I don't want to be falling off the edge of there. And one of the shoulder buttons changes your character, so I've just changed into the Kamen Rider character, and then again into the Gundam character, which is kind of like a little chubby transformer, and back to Ultraman. Other buttons you've got is jump, shoot, and there's also some buttons for deploying weapons and things later on when you pick them up, but that's all I've got for now, I think. One thing you'll notice if I shut up for a second is if you switch between the characters, you get different music. So here's Ultraman. There's a bit of Kamen Rider. And here's a bit of Gundam music. I assume these are basically the theme songs from the TV shows. Again, as I've mentioned, not very familiar with them, so I imagine that's what they are. So let's get on with it. Basically, you scroll along this overhead view, and it's a run and gun style game. You've also got jumping over platforms and things, as was fairly obvious by the presence of a jump button, I would have thought. Nice chunky cute graphics. The backgrounds are not very spectacular, but the main character graphics in particular are quite cool. And all you got to do is run along these bridges from one little island to the next, shooting the enemies. Then you get some platforms that you've got to jump onto to negotiate further, like that. And there's something I've encountered that's talking to me. Don't know what he's saying, but yeah, unsurprisingly, he wants to shoot me. And I've killed him, I guess. Oh, okay, so now he's like an option. He's actually sort of wandering around following me. Not sure how you deploy him, probably with one of the other buttons. Oh, and he fires stuff when you fire, so that's useful. Turned out to be a guy that was handy to kill. Oh, he's gone. It didn't last very long. Maybe he comes back later, I'm not sure. So thus far, shooting some little sort of dragon type characters for want of a better explanation. Nothing too extravagant so far. Here's another guy who wants a little chat with me. Oh, and he's going to be a little bit more tricky. Let's change to somebody else. There's a bit of Ultraman on this guy. I have no idea if the different weapons serve any great purpose. As you can see, this guy's kind of... Oh, he's died. He's kind of dead now, but he's kind of breaking himself up into little pieces and spinning around. So the enemies so far are not too challenging. And we've got a little cave that we go into. And this guy's, what, friendly or not? Yeah, I think I've got some kind of power up now. Oh, I don't want to jump there yet. So here's an enemy of sorts. I assume it's a dragon who's... Oh, now he's talking to me. I assume I'm getting quite close to the end of the stage now. Oh, there's that. I've just pressed a button and got that option back, and the slowdown is now horrendous. I'm not doing a very good job of shooting this dragon either, really. There we go, I got him now. That was a bit of a disaster. Oh, maybe it's not the end of the level then. Oh, fell down a hole. Lost a life there as well. That was a bit of a disaster. Okay, maybe this is the end of the level then. Okay, this definitely looks like an end of level boss. It's some kind of big ant creature. Let's switch to Kamen Rider for this. Kamen Rider, you might notice, doesn't actually fire a weapon, he fires his foot, because I assume the character in the TV show uses his hand-to-hand combat rather than firing weapons. So basically this thing runs around and fires stuff at you, and you've got to try and hit it as much as you can. This guy's rubbish. Let's move. Oh, there we go. That's what we want. Gundam's got a missile launcher. There we go. Made short work of him. I know I'll be using from this point onwards. And some more text, which I can't read. And that's the end of the first stage, I assume. So we move on to the second stage. With a nice bit of mode 7 zooming. And a bit more exposition. Something to do with a big lightning bolt by the looks of it. So let's move on to stage 2. Which features a lot of grey. Definitely a lot of grey. It seems to be in some kind of a castle, I assume. Ooh, some lightning effects. That'd be the lightning that was in that cutscene. Can you call it a cutscene if it's just a bit of text and an image? I think you can. Oh, it's a ball. I'm being chased by a ball. Oh, that's annoying. So yeah, some atmospheric effects on this stage, which make up for the fact that it's a lot of grey boxes, I suppose. the closest I can think of in terms of a similar game to this is really Gauntlet, I suppose, with the overhead view and shooting stuff. It's not really like Gauntlet, but it's kind of similar to Gauntlet. It's a run and gun platformer type affair. A bit of maze here as well, just to reinforce my Gauntlet theory. So yeah, this is boring so far. This looks like the kind of guy who wants a missile firing at him. Oh, he's annoying. He kind of fires a big snaky thing out at you periodically. This is where the jump button comes in, I suppose. Oh, he's really difficult to shoot as well. Why won't you die? Got you. Okay, move on. Another ball. These are very snake-like enemies, I think it's fair to say. Although they're not snake in shape, they look a bit sort of snaky. So there's some quite nice music in the background. Let's change characters again, just for the sake of it. I quite like Ultraman's weapon, so to speak. Pardon the innuendo. He's also got some nice jolly music. So yeah, the music's alright. The graphics are a bit bland for the scenery, but you can see we've got some rain effects by the way now as well. But I do like the animation, albeit simplistic, and the style of the characters is very cute and nice. And we've got 3 very similar looking enemies that are all saying 3 a lot and stuff, and who knows. Let's just shoot them and hope for the best. It's very difficult to avoid getting shot. Well, that wasn't that difficult, was it? Let's move on. Probably didn't need to go in there. Oh, now we've got missiles being fired at us or something. Oh, there's another one. Just go away. Oh, it's you that's firing the missiles. Oh, what irritating. There's no way to avoid them, surely. Yes, there is. Just moving out of the way does it. Oh, will you just die? There goes another life. There's no indication of how much energy this guy's got. Oh, he's really got a lot of bombs. There we go, he's dead. I'll go for that. Okay, moving on. Oh, I've got that little guy helping me again now. I'm not sure if I wanted to use him right now. Let's save him for a boss, but maybe this is a boss coming up. This is a big chamber that looks like it might contain an annoying boss. Yeah, here we go. He's got a big ball and chain. It's almost impossible to avoid. Looks like most of the other enemies. That's the biggest criticism of the game, is basically you're just getting shot all the time. Ultraman's weapon definitely has the best range, I think. Let's see what we've got. Oh, look at that. That was the power-up that I picked up. Has that killed him? That wasn't too bad. Oh, okay. He wasn't the end level boss then. This guy is. He's a little bit more intimidating. This is where I wish I'd saved that power up. Oh. Stay still. Oh, these jumping around bosses are really annoying. And I think that's the end. Game over. Do we get a chance to continue? Yes, I do. Let's continue. I bet this sends me right back to the start of the level though. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'll work my way through the level again and get back to the baddie. I don't think you need to see any of that again. So I'm back for another crack at the dual end of level bosses. I'll not be using my special weapon until I reach the second one this time. Oh, that's a jump. This guy's like a little guy in a suit of armour who's quite cute. They're all quite cute in fact, really. Oh, there goes life. But only the first of 3, so should be alright. Get away. I don't know if you've noticed, but it makes quite a pathetic noise when he's hit. He goes like meh. Right, you're done for here, mate. There we go. 1 down, 1 to go. Do I want to be Ultraman or not? Yes, I do. Because he's got this like mega shuriken thing which I'm about to unleash. There we go. That's useful. Oh, missed with that one. Oh no, it got him when he jumped into it. It was useful. I've no idea how much health he's got left, as usual. Ooh, that's different. Stay still. Oh, there we go, he's dead. And there I've rescued one of the Kamen Rider's friends. I assume. The guy in the red there, with the little antennas. So on we go to level 3, which looks to be on a big spaceship. Firstly, I'm assuming this guy's now part of my army. He is indeed. Let's see what he can do. He's got a big red foot that he kicks at people. Hopefully he's more useful than the original Kamen Rider, who was pretty rubbish compared to the other 2 guys. So we're now in some kind of more futuristic world with a big mesh grill on the ground and some superstructure behind it, some Death Star looking kind of thing. He's giving me some kind of a power up. Graphics on this level are a bit more interesting than the last ones, and we've got some turrets now as well. Annoying flying enemies as well. They're in places that you can't get to them. Yep, so we've got some gun turrets. I'm sure there's going to be an enemy in here, but I may as well go in here anyway. Yep, there's 2 robot guys. Oh, one of them's dropping gun turrets as well. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, nice graphics on these characters, and the backgrounds are better as well, as I mentioned. It's a bit more sort of space shooter style graphics on this stage. Let's just finish this guy off with... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's got a little scooter or something, is he? Interesting. That was my power up again, by the way. So onward we go. So on this level we've also got some bombs that explode if you get too close to them. You just got to be a little bit careful there. They're not too hidden, so they're quite easy to spot. Not sure how far from the end of the stage I am here now. I'm getting killed here. Some nice robots there, green robots. Yeah, nothing too imaginative, it's all pretty generic stuff. I don't know whether all the enemies that you're fighting are characters from the original TV shows or not. Probably not, they're probably just generic enemies of some kind. Here's another robot guy. Oh, there goes another life, so I'm on my last life now. Won't be continuing again, I think probably seen enough really. Waiting for a platform to arrive, which seems to be taking forever. Here we go. Oh, that's annoying. When you fall down there, by the way, you do lose some health, but not an entire life, so that's at least one good thing. That was really irritating. I've got to wait ages for it to come back again. Got on it this time. So as I'm nearly out of life, better sum up this game. It's kind of fun. It's pretty simplistic. It's got some nice colourful graphics, variety of weapons, different characters that you can use as well, so it's fairly imaginative. Gameplay wise, it's pretty simplistic though. There's not really a lot going on. It's just run along, shoot stuff and try not to get shot, and trying not to get shot can be quite hard. Certainly shooting in diagonals in particular is quite difficult. And another thing that I've got to kill here, is there? Yeah, of course there is. What is this doing? Oh, okay. It's some kind of a bug guy that's firing lasers from behind me as well. Yeah, they can't be destroyed. Oh, they can. I've got one of them. Let's just use the evil super scooter to finish that guy off. So, I don't know how close I am to the end. Still some way to go, it seems. Oh, that's awkward. It wasn't that awkward, actually. So yeah, some nice music in the game. The sounds are a bit wimpy at times, but overall it's not too bad sound-wise either. This is getting very tedious now, navigating all these platforms. Oh, yeah. Look at this platform here. What's the point of that? This one involves a lot more jumping from platform to platform than the previous ones did. Obviously trying to make it a bit more difficult, but it's actually not really that difficult as long as you're careful. This looks like an end of level boss coming up. I've got no health left at all, so this could be very short-lived. Well, look at him though. He's quite impressive. He's a big robot. So let's try see how far I can get by unleashing my special weapon on him. And that's basically killed me off now. I think we've seen enough. It's not too bad. It's not the greatest game in the world. It didn't cost me a lot of money, and whether I sell it or not is probably going to depend on what the other games in this very lengthy series on the Super Famicom are like. So a reserved judgment, keep it for now, and if they all turn out to be this sort of standard, I'll probably end up selling the lot as a bundle on eBay.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.